Hi. Okay. So my name is Jerrilee. I'm one of your classmates here with the Management 311 class. Um, so as far as coronavirus and the use of technology and the communication barriers, I have my cats are gonna be running around here. Um, in all honesty, for me, I work at a CPA firm in Seattle. I'm an accounting services manager there. And so I will train bookkeepers or clients. And for my business consultants, we can basically run the gamut. We can just, we're either answering their civil tax questions because obviously we prepare tax returns too. Accounting services department is more, I have a group that does like bookkeeping. We also will do payroll, and it's like the full service bookkeeping, can handle pretty much anything with any state agencies. For my clients, if they're a smaller business, they utilize me and my firm to be able to kind of talk to sometimes discuss business decisions or figure out forecasting and helping our clients try and find a way forward for their business. The coronavirus was pretty painful, I mean, for everybody. And for us, because most of our clients are small businesses, we were really scrambling to help our clients find ways to stay afloat, right? So the PPP companies that were in hospitality, right, we're looking for grants and loans and calling them and saying, hey, I think you can qualify for this. I think it would, be able to help get you through. So, one of our primary objectives, at least through the pandemic, was, well, A, we're considered essential, being financial services and dealing with people's money. And so our office didn't shut down. I worked the entire time. I did not have, I didn't get the luxury of staying home like some people. Although, to be really honest, I preferred that. I don't think I would have been very happy if I had just been stuck at home and not able to do anything. So I did commute into work, so across the Bremerton Seattle ferry. So an hour each way, it makes for a brutally long day. But I want to circle back around though, like for the technology, right? I mean, certainly we did have challenges. So obviously, I'm either, if I was working from home that day, I could say conference in with one of my bookkeepers on either the phone, or if they needed help, like to know how to do something. If I couldn't walk them through it, I was able to then just send them, and we use the Google Meet. I'm not such a Zoom fan. Um, Anyhow, and then we can share screens so either they can share their screen and I can like point them where they need to go, or I can share my own screens and show them themselves. Sometimes we just switch off so that we could kind of see back and forth. Um, Anyhow, but it definitely, I think one of the things, and this was kind of like in the 8.3 communication barriers, sometimes by doing this, it was definitely, I think, like an information overload for people, especially when I was working with either brand new bookkeepers or new clients that needed help either setting up accounting systems, setting up payroll, maybe even getting business licenses, foreign LLCs, right? It just kind of ran the gamut. And so when you're talking with an accounting client that has multiple needs or maybe wants to discuss their business, that is can absolutely be information overload. Um, because like my job actually isn't to tell them how to do it. My job is to understand where they're at, where they want to go, come up with options for them, right? So then we'd want to walk through the options and kind of figure out like what really works for them and what they want to go on. But in doing that, it absolutely could be overload. And so we had to be able to know, kind of really pay attention to the other person's, like the voice tone, and as well as their just body language to tell if you were starting to lose them. And if so, it's like, okay, how do I get them back in? And sometimes it's just so much. It's like, hey, why don't we take a break and and I'm going to give you time to think about this, and we can get on a call later in the week and you can tell me, what you're thinking, or if you've come up with other questions, just to kind of give everybody the chance to let information settle in so that we could determine on where it wanted to go. Other problems that can happen, and especially like in the tax world, is that we there can certainly be differences in language, when it comes to tax statutes, or what people can take as let's say business deductions. Uh, those things are not always clear, and because IRS rules can change from year to year, right? It's a matter of being able to explain things. And sometimes when you explain it one way, people aren't always going to get it. And so sometimes you have to be like, okay, I'm going to try the front door. The front door doesn't work. No, I'm going to try that side door. I'm going to try the back door, a window, a crawl space, and whatever it is to get into that place where we can both be in the same, basically in the same place and communicating the same way. So it can certainly be a challenge, but you know, since that is my job, I'm pretty good at it over decades. So, anyways, um, all right. And so really we're kind of talking about like 8.4, the type of communication. So here, obviously, we've got a lot of verbal communication, back and forth, but there's certainly a lot of nonverbal too, right? You can hear it in somebody's tone of voice if you're starting to lose them, or if they're getting frustrated, or if they're just not getting it. And I think for me it was really important to be checking in with them pretty often during the conversation to say, oh, I could explain a concept to them, and then I would want to stop and say, so what do you think about this? If we were to do X, Y, and Z, right, this is how it would fit into your business, or these parts wouldn't, but have you considered something, because I think this might work better for you, right? We need to, and then they need to be able to ask questions and get a response. And it's so funny because sometimes you'll have people that, oh gosh, they want to apologize. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm asking. And it's like, don't be sorry. I want you to ask, right? If you don't ask, you're not going to know. And if you don't know, I'm not doing my job. So it's, uh, you know, so both verbally and nor it depended on whether or not I was going to, be on camera, which I'm not a big fan of being on camera, but I will do it. Hey, kids. Anyways, so really there was a whole lot that went into it. And then, of course, when we get to 8.5, the ethics and communications, at least in my world, everything, every communication you have has got to put you at that absolute apex, of ethics. People have to be able to trust you, believe you, right? And sometimes I'm going to tell people things that they don't want to hear. But the truth is, like when I'm talking to them, it's like, hey, look, I, I don't make the IRS's rules, but I can explain them to you. Um, and then I'm going to let you make your decision, because I'm not going to tell you what you have to do. I'm going to tell you what the regs are. Sorry, lingo, slang, jargon. So, anyways, what their regulations or what their requirements are. Like January, everybody has to get. So anybody that's paid in rent or services for $600 or more, cumulative over the previous year, have to get 1099s, which get reported on your tax return. And there are so many things that are just challenging with that, because there are a bunch of different types of entities, right? Sole proprietor, limited liability corporation, which is an LLC. And if you're an LLC, are you single member, which is treated like a sole proprietor? Are you a partnership? Are you an S Corp or a C Corp? And those are elections with the IRS. And each one of these has a different reporting requirement, and most people don't know what they are. And to be really honest, most people don't know the difference between the LLCs. So not only do we have to work with my clients, I'm working with my clients' vendors. And oftentimes, especially with some contractors that may work like in cash, consultants or this, they don't necessarily want to give you their tax information because they don't want to report it. And I have to be pleasant and firm. Like, look, you don't have to give it to me, but I'm still reporting it to the IRS because I have to cover my client. Like, my client safety is my top priority. And it's my job to protect them. So, anyways, it's not always fun, but it's necessary. And I don't like that part, but I like most parts of my job. Uh, anyways, so that's kind of that. And now on my separate note, question two, discuss my thoughts on how to respond to this week's question. Well, I don't have social media. I don't do that. Yeah, I have a LinkedIn profile, uh, but I don't do social media. I haven't done it for years now, and so I've never done a video, and you all are my first, and this is really, really crazy awkward for me. I would way rather stand in front of a group of 100 people and talk than do a video. So, anyways, okay. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate your time, your attention. If anybody watches this, thanks. And all right, I guess we're going to have a great class. Thanks.